Have you scheduled a vacation and wondered how it would turn out? Stay tuned for a reading that can help you figure it out. Hi everybody, I'm Sue Ellen Clayton. Welcome to my channel where we're learning how to read tarot one card at a time. In today's reading, we'll be looking at 5 cards to help a woman determine the outcome of her upcoming vacation. I will be using the Radiant Rider-Waite Tarot, and there is a link below. This question was posted anonymously online, and the question was, how will my holiday go? They gave no other information. For simplicity's sake, I'll assume that the querent is a woman. I'm also rewording the question to, how will my vacation turn out? I'm rewording this because it can be confusing for people who don't live in an area with British roots. I know this because it was tough for me when I moved from Canada to the United States more than 30 years ago. In Canada and Britain, holiday refers to a day of celebration and a period of time off to enjoy yourself. In the United States, we have 2 words. Holiday is a day of celebration, such as Christmas or 4th of July, and then we use the word vacation to refer to time off from work or school for leisure activities. It took me years to not tell people that I was going on holiday and then realized what I'd said when they looked at me like I was an idiot. Anyway, the querent drew 5 cards, including a card from the bottom of the deck. She didn't mention using a spread. However, I will be using a 4-card spread to look at the overall vibe of her vacation. Card number 1 looks at the overall energy or atmosphere of the vacation. The querent drew the World. Card number 2 looks at the key themes or focuses of the trip. The querent drew the King of Wands. Card number 3 looks at the potential surprises or unexpected events on the vacation. The querent drew the Queen of Cups. Card number 4 looks at the overall success and fulfillment of the vacation. The querent drew the 10 of Cups. Card number 5 is from the bottom of the deck. This card provides additional advice or clarification by looking at things that the querent was not aware of beyond what we saw in the first 4 cards. The querent drew the 2 of Cups. Let's begin with my first impressions. First of all, we have the World card. So I think this is a big trip, possibly something that they have been planning for a very long time. I don't think they're traveling to the next county. I think it is an international trip, and it's very significant, and it involves several countries and destinations. Second, I noticed that we have 3 Cups cards. Cups represent love and emotion. The 10 of Cups is the happy family card, and the 2 of Cups is basically the minor arcana version of the Lovers. So I feel like there's a lot of love and happiness in this trip, which means that it will go well. The second and third positions we see are the King of Wands and the Queen of Cups. I feel like this represents senior members of the family, likely grandparents, who financed the trip. They are looking toward the past. I think this vacation is essentially a trip back in time so they can share their earlier lives with their children and grandchildren. Now let's look at each card individually. Card number 1 looks at the overall energy or atmosphere of the vacation. The querent drew the World. The World card marks the end of the Fool's journey. It represents completion, fulfillment, happiness, enlightenment, and success. It signifies that you've reached an important destination in your life. Now it's time to become the Fool again and start a new journey toward new goals. The World card can also represent death for someone who has lived a long, full life, and I think that is the energy of this card. It is a marker for the grandparents' lives as being complete. As I mentioned earlier, I think that this trip is a final gift from the grandparents or elders in the family. They are looking toward the past. I think they might be taking their family back to their homeland and know that their traveling days and possibly their lives are complete once this is finished. That doesn't mean that they're going to pass away on the plane ride home. I think that their traveling days are over. I have family members who are in their late 80s and early 90s. They have all reached a point where they don't want to travel anymore for a variety of reasons, mainly due to health concerns and just finding it too exhausting. Normally, the 4 figures in the corners are interpreted to be signs of the zodiac and the 4 seasons of the year. Only their heads are emerging from the clouds and the rest is hidden. In this case, I'm wondering if they represent memories of the grandfather and grandmothers, or of loved ones who have passed away and who they will encounter soon after they die. We can see that the female is paused, and I think this represents the energy of the trip. As a family, they are stopping to reflect on where they have come from. In summary, I see the energy of this vacation as being a chance to pause and for the elders to revisit their roots. I see this as a joyous experience that is significant for everyone who is on the vacation. Card number 2 looks at the key themes or focuses of the trip. The querent drew the King of Wands. The King of Wands is a leader and visionary with a reputation of getting things done. He can represent a leader in business or a leader in the family. In this case, I think he represents the patriarch of the family, which I will refer to as the grandfather. The King of Wands traits include someone who is intelligent, honest, and makes fair decisions. He uses his intelligence to think about things and then takes bold action. He tends to be very competent and does what is necessary to reach his goals, even things that others would consider unconventional or risky. He's not afraid to experiment or come up with out-of-the-box solutions. The King of Wands represents someone who has a commanding presence, is a natural leader, is seen as an authority figure, and is highly respected. He is focused and determined and has the ability to get people fired up. He can also be hot-tempered, intense, and intimidating. He can be dramatic and enjoys being the center of attention. I think the key thing of this trip is to showcase the grandfather's past. He wants his family to appreciate his accomplishments, see him as powerful, and get in touch with their history. The patriarch can feel like he deserves his family's respect, and he might not have consulted them about the plans. For instance, he chooses a walk through his old boarding school instead of a trip to an amusement park, because that's what he wants to do. This makes me think of listening to Mike Bother talk about his accomplishments at work. He was always so proud when he was telling these stories, even though I'd heard them dozens of times, even long after his retirement. But it made him feel competent and important. I don't think it ever dawned on him that we had heard these stories more than enough times because he liked telling them and he needed an audience. I think that's what's happening on this vacation. The purpose of the trip was for the patriarch to feel powerful. He wants to feel like the king again and feel like his children and grandchildren are his loyal subjects. Card number 3 looks at the potential surprises or unexpected events on the vacation. The querent drew the Queen of Cups. I think the Queen of Cups represents what was unexpected about the vacation, which was that the vacationers had a surprisingly emotional experience. Queens were the nurturers and caretakers of the kingdom and were traditionally considered to be women over 30. The Queen of Cups was gentle, loving, sensitive, nurturing, and felt things deeply. We can see cherubs on her throne, which can represent her maternal abilities. This makes me believe that the cause of this emotional experience had something to do with the grandmother's actions towards them as young kids. I'm not exactly sure what that would be, but my guess is that they were shocked to learn that their mother protected them from danger. That could literally have meant keeping an eye on them during a seaside visit or a surprise storm. Or maybe they had a neighbor who did bad things to little kids, so the grandmother worked hard to keep her children or grandchildren safe. There's lots in this image to show that the queen was emotional. The first thing to look at are the clamshells. We see a clamshell on the throne's backrest and a clamshell clasp holding her cloak together. Clamshells open and close. It can indicate her fragility because she can choose to hide herself away or show up happy as a clam. The clamshell at her throat can show that she understands the weight of the emotions she speaks of and how they can heal and help others. It also indicates that she might not always be able to hide her feelings. The wave design on her robe shows her connections to the flow of the tides and her feelings. The deep pink lining on the cloak displays her sweet nature, her approachability, and her need for things to be rosy. Her feet are touching the water but are not immersed in it, so we can tell that she has some control over her feelings. Her feet are on colored stones that have been smoothed over, showing that she has learned how to manage and live with her emotions. She's also surrounded by water, which indicates that she has been fully immersed in her emotions. The Queen of Cups is wearing a gold crown that is open at the top. The crown is tall to show that she places a high value on her thoughts, and her crown is essentially a channel for her emotional wisdom. On the crown, we see 3 small loops, which is the number of creation. The crown has 2 sets of 9 circles, which represent the 9 months of pregnancy. Between that and the cherubs on the throne, and the idea that the mother was very careful about protecting her children from danger, it made me think that the mother gave birth to a child or children who drowned. Until this vacation, she'd never spoken about her deceased children and had kept her memories hidden from her children and grandchildren. Card number 4 looks at the overall success and fulfillment of the vacation. The querent drew the 10 of Cups. The 10 of Cups is the happy family card. This tells me that it has been a very successful and fulfilling vacation from a family standpoint. It looks like the husband and wife are getting along well as he has his arm around her. It looks like the kids are enjoying themselves too as they're dancing instead of arguing or playing computer games. The couple are staring at an idyllic rainbow. We see a flowing stream to the left, which indicates that their life is overflowing with blessings. Overall, it looks like a wonderful vacation. My only thought is that this is a stage card, so it makes me wonder if things are as good as they look, or if the couple is just pretending for appearance's sake. I can't tell you how many times I've experienced this when looking at people's vacation photos. Everything looks blissful on Facebook, and then you hear the real story about how the couple fought nonstop, but then everybody pretended to get along when somebody pulled out their phone for a photo. Since we're predicting how the vacation will go, we can interpret this as one of 2 ways. The first is that the vacation will be all sunshine and rainbows. The second way is that there will be a lot of underlying tension, but everybody will pretend to get along to keep the peace. Even if that was the case, the 10 of Cups is an enormously positive card, and I feel like, on balance, it would be a great vacation. You've made it this far in the video, and I wanted to stop and ask a favor if you're not already a subscriber, and that is to please hit the subscribe button. It's free for you, and it will also help me to grow this channel. Plus, it means that you won't miss anything. Thanks so much, and if you're already a subscriber, I truly appreciate your ongoing support. Now let's get back to the video. Card number 5 is from the bottom of the deck. This card provides additional advice or clarification by looking at things that the querent was not aware of beyond what we saw in the first 4 cards. The querent drew the 2 of Cups. The 2 of Cups is a card about equality and collaboration. It symbolizes a loving, caring, respectful relationship that may or may not be sexual. It shows people who are cooperating and contributing equally to a common goal. Although we often think of this as a romantic partnership, the 2 of Cups can represent a friendship, a business partnership, or family bonds. It can also represent forgiving someone and reconciling following difficulties in the relationship. This card tells me that there were underlying issues in the family that were worked out on the trip. I think there were a couple of possibilities. One is that the family had a difficult relationship with their father and felt pressured into the trip, which was basically a walk down memory lane for him. The other is that they learned unexpected information about their mom, who likely had another child, and that rocked their world. Whatever it was, the family gained a deeper understanding and love for each other, and was able to reconcile. So let's summarize. The reading answered the question, how will my vacation turn out? And the answer is that it will be a very positive experience. Card number 1, the World, looked at the overall energy or atmosphere of the vacation. I see this as a very significant and joyful experience. I see it as an end-of-life gift from the grandparents to their family as they revisit their grandparents' roots, and an acknowledgement that their grandparents' days are numbered. Card number 2, the King of Wands, looks at the key themes or focuses of the trip. I think the key theme was to showcase the grandfather's past and provide a final acknowledgement that he was important. Card number 3, the Queen of Cups, looked at the potential surprises or unexpected events on the vacation. And this was some kind of an emotional reaction to a long-held secret from the grandmother. Card number 4, the 10 of Cups, looked at the overall success and fulfillment of the family vacation. Since this is the happy family card, I think everything went very well. The 2 of Cups provides additional advice or clarification beyond what we saw in the first 4 cards. This card can represent a reconciliation following difficulties in the relationship. I think that the family worked through some issues and came out with stronger bonds following the trip. I hope this video will help you with your tarot readings. Please leave a comment if you'd like to share what you've learned. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.